Let's talk about the Moscow Four. Kaylee, Madison, Zayna, and Ethan. Everybody's focused on the suspect. Everybody's focused on Dylan. Everybody's focused on something besides the suspect. Everybody wants an answer. They want to know how this could happen. They want to know why this could happen. They want to put a blame on something or somebody. And because they don't have a conviction yet, they want to put a blame on the law enforcement agencies. They want to put a blame on Dylan. They want to put a blame on anybody and everybody but the suspect. The evidence given, I don't care if Dateline, if 2020, if all these other agencies have put out different stories on this, they have the exact same evidence you have. A gag order's been put on this case. They cannot release any more information. They cannot release any more evidence, anything. All they can do is go off speculation, assumptions, opinions, and conspiracies. I have seen conspiracies from our victims' parents or our victims' families who were arrested for some crime. Well, you know what? All of us have somebody in our closet. All of us have some skeleton somewhere. These victims are exactly that. This was a horrific crime. This was an event that took place that could have been prevented. We don't know. It happened. Let's stop looking at why this happened or how this happened for just a second. Let's take in the evidence we actually have. We have DNA evidence. We have warrants. We have a suspect that has gone to court 3 times, I believe now, once in Pennsylvania and twice here in Idaho. He waived his prelim deadline, which is 14 days. He did that. They did it in court. They did exactly what was supposed to be done. So he can't come back in the future and say he wasn't given a speedy trial according to the Constitution. They have done everything they could to make this case go as planned. I've even seen it where somebody made a complaint that Moscow PD has kept this case to themselves, and they kept jurisdiction because they're a corrupt agency. No, they kept the jurisdiction because, number one, it wasn't a federal crime, so the FBI is not going to take over. But they got brought in for assistance. The state police didn't take over because it is in the Moscow city limits, so Moscow took it. The county didn't come in and take it over because it's still within the city limits. So what it is it's a jurisdictional thing. They're not flexing muscle. They reached out. This agency reached out to everybody they possibly could to get as much help as possible. The feds helped. The state police has helped. The county has helped. The campus police over in Washington helped. Surrounding agencies are helping. Everybody's helping. It's not like Moscow PD walked in and said, oh, look, let's take a few pictures. Let's get a cleanup crew in here and clean up all the evidence. That's not what happened. They came in, they conducted an initial investigation. We talked about that in one of the other videos. They did an initial investigation when they came in the house. They confirmed, yes, we have a crime scene. They got other people involved. The detectives were there. Then they contact the state police. Then they contact the FBI forensics. This is a team of people who have worked together. Not one person has spearheaded this. Not one agency has spearheaded this saying this is ours. We are the only ones going to be doing this. It was a team effort. We had a homicide here several years back where there was a young lady who was murdered, stabbed to death by a couple of individuals. And we had a team come in. There were so many agencies involved, and everybody had an assignment. Everybody worked as a team. We brought everything together, and all of our evidence all said, okay, this team did this, let's bring this evidence in. This team did this, and let's bring this in. Everything got put together for the prosecutor's office. And yes, everybody had to go in and testify. Whoever had anything to do with that, they had to go in and testify. Same with this. All this evidence, and they said that the cleanup crews came in there to destroy evidence. Not the case. That residence was recorded, measured, laser measured, photographed, hand-drawn diagrams, evidence taken, scrapings taken, you name it, they cleared the whole house over and over and over. So the family hired a forensic reconstructionist. Judge said no cleanup. They said okay. And that individual's been allowed to go in the house and reconstruct his own little investigation, which is fine. That's what we want. We want everybody to have a fair, equal opportunity. So we're looking at blood splatter. The direction of the blood splatter will tell you the direction of the wound or the cuts. They'll tell you direction of the individual, where they're facing, which way somebody was walking. Any blood spatter or blood droplets, that's huge evidence. And photographs, video, everything is already taken of all that. This reconstruction is going to come in and do the same basic thing. And so it's fine to do that. And they weren't trying to hide any evidence. That's not the case. That is a biohazard. 4 human beings has a lot of blood, and that's a lot of biohazard. And also, I know for a fact, the way I was, when I dealt with victims, my biggest concern was respect for our victims and our victims' families. That's all I cared about. We have to maintain human lives and their sanity. These people that are saying, why do I care if my child were murdered? I wouldn't want a set of golf clubs. If my child was murdered, I wouldn't want this property or that property. How do you know? If you've never had a child that was brutally murdered like this, you don't know how you're going to act. They gave property back not to hide anything. It just wasn't part of evidence. It wasn't necessarily needed. It's like, do we keep like a kitchen knife in the drawer in the kitchen that was never used? It's not evidence. Once they declared that this wasn't evidence, they could release it to the family. I'm telling you right now, family will hold on to anything. I have seen children. I've seen children who were playing the piano, playing church hymns, and the other brother was singing songs, and another one was eating because their little brother drowned. And I was in the house waiting for the other family members to get there to take them. I've seen mothers grab a stuffed toy after I gave them a death notification of a teenage boy. But you don't know what you're going to do. So my plea is back off. Back off. All you conspiracy theorists, all of you keyboard detectives, back off a little bit, would you? Just go off the evidence given, clean the slate, wipe off your computers, wipe off your tables, shut your TVs off, go back to the basic evidence, read the affidavit of probable cause, read the timelines, read the evidence given to you, because that's all there is. Anybody else puts anything out there, it's just hearsay. I interviewed a 5-year-old from the suspect's past life. Okay. And that has something to do with what? That has something to do with what with this family? The parents of the victims have asked, please stop. Let the police do their job. I love the idea that everybody's out there trying to find an answer. I love that. But let's not make up stories. Let's not make up things. Kaylee, Madison, Zaina, and Ethan are victims of a horrific crime. They should be remembered. The suspect, if this turns out to be him and he is convicted and is guilty of this crime, his name should be forgotten forever. We need to remember the living. Dylan, Bethany, those two are going to live with this the rest of their lives. They're going to see things made, comments made on here that we all talk nowadays about bullying. We all talk about, oh, this poor kid was bullied or this person was bullied. And maybe that's why he turned out this way. They're actually trying to say the suspect was bullied and that's why he did what he did. And most of the time it's not true. But right now, internet bullying on these 2 young ladies is true. And where can they get pushed? They have to live with this the rest of their lives. And they see any of these comments made against them, I don't care. You can unsubscribe, you can hate me for what I've said, you can do whatever you want to do. That's how I feel. And that's what I have seen. I have seen crime scenes. I have seen death. I have seen families suffer. And I have seen what the internet bullying and the press bullying can do to the survivors of these horrific crimes. I have seen it. Oh, stop. Just take a breath. All of you, take a breath. Go back, clean the slate, and start over again. Look at the evidence that's been released. There's a gag order put on. Nothing else is getting released. Everything else you see out here is hearsay. Unless you were in that house during the crime scene, you don't know all the facts. So let's take a step back. Now, how did this happen? Could it have been prevented? I don't know. We're getting ready to graduate a bunch of college students here soon this spring, and then brand new set of college students are going to be wandering off and sometimes getting ready for school, and I know a lot of people have their 18-year-olds getting ready to move out of the house the first time and go live on their own, possibly get a job to just do that. How do we guarantee this won't happen again? We got to use our sense. I don't believe in common sense, because if sense were so common, everybody would have it. So I don't believe in common sense. Everybody has to have sense. Everybody has to have situational awareness. The key thing in survival in this, there's three things you need to do when you start planning a self-defense plan. A self-defense plan is not like building a house. You can't take A, bolt it into B, and it creates C. A self-defense plan is fluid. A self-defense plan changes. You just have to have certain things to draw from. And the plan that you have to have, there's three things you have to have: mind, body, and tools. When it comes to a self-defense plan, your mind has to be straight. You have to know, I can do this. I can defend myself or others, and I can do it by any means necessary to stop whatever's happening. You have to have the mindset. You have to know the laws of how far can I take this self-defense. What can I and can I not do to defend myself or others? Body. Know your limitations. Know your abilities. Know your training. Know what you've done. Know what your body is capable of doing. We're not all built the same. We're not all the same age. I mean, I'm not going to be able to do a flying, spinning crescent kick on somebody. I know that. So I've got to take my body and realize this is what my capabilities are. This is what I am able to do. And this is what I'm going to train on. And the third one is tools. What tool am I going to use? Am I going to use electricity? Am I going to use chemicals? Am I going to use a firearm? Am I going to use a knife? Am I going to use a stick? Am I going to use my hands and feet? What tools? The number one tool you have is right here. Use your head. So when you're making these self-defense plans and you're talking to your kids about this, and you're talking about your loved ones who live elsewhere, that not under your roof, that you don't feel like you have protection with them, tell them their self-defense plan includes everything. Lock your doors. Lock your windows. We talked about that. We talked about how to secure your sliding glass door. We talked about how to fix your deadbolt and the strike plates. So let's talk about something else. If you have a video, if you feel you're being watched, you feel something's not right, something's out of place, start reviewing some of your outside cameras. Is there a car that I keep seeing go by that I've never seen before, but it's gone by a lot? Is there a car parked in front of my house? Is there a car parked a couple streets away that's running because it's cold outside? Is there a lot of cigarette butts, or no, a lot of people don't smoke these days, they vape. But does it appear that there's somebody sitting down the street watching me? I don't know. But be curious. Pay attention to these things. Look at your social media. See who's approached you, who's friended you. See their actions. Don't friend everybody on social media. Don't post everything on social media. If you feel you have a stalker, close it up. Lock down your social media for a while. See what happens. See who's out there. If you're in school, keep your eyes open. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head out of this little 4-inch screen. Keep your head up. Look at life. Look around you. See what's going on. The key thing is situational awareness. And situational awareness, I can cover that really quick. We talk about the color codes of awareness. There's 4 of them. And Colonel Cooper from the Marine Corps developed it for civilians. It was made for Marines back in World War II when they would go out on patrol. They would know what type of situation they were going to and how high of alert they had to be on. And Colonel Cooper, who diverted over to the color code to fit human, or sorry about that, military is human, to fit civilians. It's white is when you're unaware, you're in a safe location, you're unaware of your surroundings, you're not paying attention to anything. Then you've got yellow, which you're a little more aware. You're outside for a walk, doing yard work, whatever it is, going from one place to another, but you're semi-safe in that area. Orange is where there's something wrong. You feel something's wrong. You're paying more attention. You need to start paying more attention and looking around and see what's going on. Red is it's imminent. It's happening. Something bad is happening, and I have got to figure out what I'm going to do, and I'm going to fight. And that's when it turns into your OODA loop and your Hicks theory, but we're going to cover those in the future. But these things, your kids, your family members, and you have to practice these things. Make a self-defense plan. Think about what's going on around you. When you come home, don't just drive up in your driveway, pop your garage door, drive in your garage door, and then close it while you're on the phone the whole time. You never even looked who's in your yard, who could be standing at your front door, who could be parked next to you, who could be standing next to the garage. You never noticed. Don't walk outside your door and just step out the door and not pay attention to what's going on around your neighborhood or around you. Don't go to school and leave your classrooms and not pay attention to the hallways. What looks right, what doesn't look right. If it doesn't look right, it's not right. I mentioned that before, is I know in society today we've been told we cannot judge, we can't look at people and say, well, that's wrong, they can't do that. If you feel it's wrong, avoid it. That's as simple as that. You don't have to be ignorant about it. You have to yell at the person and say, you're a freak and I don't want you to come near me. Unless they are coming at you and you've asked them not to. Be loud, be obnoxious. Let people know something's not right with you. Or we're not right with going on around you at that time. But when you make your self-defense plan, you have to keep your eyes open. Be confident. Walk with your head up. Have your eyes open. Pay attention to what's going on. These people, I was told before on one of my posts or one of my videos that these people were at home, a place they thought was safe. And I'm not gonna. Kaylee, Madison, Zana, and Ethan, I would at no time in my life ever blame them for what happened. I won't even look at hindsight and say, well, if they had done this, if they had done that, if they had done this. No, I won't do that. But in the future, let's learn. And let's make things safe. These 4 college students, they were just enjoying life. They were just going to school. And some maniac, some disgusting, perverted, evil human ended that. Do we know why? Not yet. We will. Do we know how? Yeah, we do. Do we know how he got in? Yeah, the police know. What can we do to prevent this in the future? Secure ourselves. The days are over of Mayberry. For those who are too young to know that, you could leave your doors unlocked and open. You could leave your windows open and let the sunshine or let the summer breeze come through in the evening. You could leave your car unlocked and not worry about it. But those days are over. They're done. We have to secure ourselves. We don't have to be paranoid, but we have to be ready. And the training that you need, it's up to you. I can't look at you and say, this is a self-defense training that you need. You need to go into martial arts. You need to go into boxing. You need to take over guns. You need to take a knife. I can't do that. That's up to you. You have to have the mind, body, and tools. You have to make that decision. I can't make it. Nobody else can make it for you. So once you make that decision, go forward with that training. But the key thing right now is just look at things. I can lock stuff up. I can make my doors more secure. I can pay attention when I go outside and put my phone down and I can watch and see what's going on out there. But right now, wipe the slate clean. Start with a fresh pad. Write things down. We have so many conspiracy theories out there. We have so many fake news articles out there. We have so many opinions and so many just off the wall comments out there. scrape it clean, get the actual evidence that's been released. That is all that matters. Nothing else is going to be admitted into court. These people that are fighting each other, there's people out there going off on each other on these comments. You're fighting amongst yourselves over a case you have nothing to do with. And you're just causing problems for other people, yourself. Why put yourself in that position where you get frustrated because of what somebody else says? Am I frustrated? No, I'm not frustrated. I'm kind of shocked a little bit, but it's like, take a step back. I'm just giving some simple advice. It's up to you. I've seen a few things, I've done a few things, and I know a few things. And I'm just going off of experience. One guy asked me if I have any clue of what I'm talking about because I said that Dylan wasn't a threat to the suspect. And he kind of got mad at me and made the comment that I have no idea what I'm talking about because that means the other four were a threat to him. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. He had already did the crime. He was leaving. Anything in his path would have been a threat, but nothing in his path was a threat at that time. So that makes Dylan wasn't a threat at the time. If he saw her, she wasn't a threat. That's what I said. Kaylee, Madison, Zayna, and Ethan, my heart goes out to their family, their friends, and anybody else who cares about them. Dylan and Bethany, my heart goes out to them and their families for what they have to put up with. I also feel for the suspect's parents. You know, nobody in their right mind holding a little baby in their arms ever looks at him and says, you know, my son is going to grow up to be a murderer. So they didn't plan that. This sick individual did this on his own. This sick individual decided he's going to do what he's going to do. Really quick with that on his own, I've seen a lot of things out there about the co-defendant. There isn't a co-defendant. It's part of, I believe it's Title 16. All it is just a copy and paste page that the defense attorneys are going to just file out, and that's part of what said talks about co-defendant. If there is a co-defendant, they want all the information from them, any interviews or anything else with that. And so it's just a form that the defender's office is asking for everything, and they're getting everything, which is good. They're getting all of the evidence. So I've gone a little bit over on this one. If you like what I talk about, please subscribe and like. If you don't like what I talk about, that's okay. I'm good with it. I hope I wasn't a little harsh today, but I feel like we just need to wipe the slate clean and start fresh. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and just stay honest and try your hardest. Have a great day.